and then the driving portion. Anxiety does happen in both. So I'm going to give you examples and then answer your questions along the way, because by me being an instructor, I see both. I see people in the classroom who struggle from day one, and then I see people who struggle in the car from day one. So by me going over the car portion and the classroom portion and answering your questions, this can really help you. So the first thing I would say is a lot of you won't study for the test. You think it's an easy test. I can study one day before, I can cram. This is one of the most important tests you're going to take. And if you don't prepare it with that fashion, you're going to fail because it's very difficult. There are questions on there that are very confusing. And if you assume that it's going to be easy, you're going to struggle and fail miserably. Okay? So, an example will be a teen takes the test online but never reads the official book. So, whatever state you're in, if we're in Texas or Michigan or Nebraska, California or Utah or wherever you are, you have to read the state examination book. If you don't, you won't be familiar with the laws in our state. Okay? This is why Texas has Texas driver's ed. This is why Hawaii has Hawaii driver's ed. For instance, Hawaii has volcanoes. They might have questions on the test about volcanoes. Just an example. Okay? Part of our day one is you downloading whatever driver must know. When you download that, you're going to have specific rules for our location, for our state. That's why I showed you that, and that's why I want you to download it. So you must download the official examination booklet of whatever state you're in. Is parallel parking hard? People seem like it. It is hard because if you don't prepare for it, you don't do the proper setup, speed control, looking out your back window, not relying on your backup camera, backing in too fast, you will fail the parallel parking. And if you fail the parallel parking, you won't ever get to the road part of your test. So this is why I really stress parallel parking. Now, if you have anxiety, you hit the gas too hard, or you turn the wheel too fast or turn the wheel too slow, you're going to hit the cones. And if you hit too many cones, it's an automatic failure. If you go over the line or lines, it's an automatic failure. So we prepare every time we go out. We prepare in a parking lot. We prepare around real cars on real streets. And if you're taking too long, people will honk at you. That'll give you stress. That'll give you anxiety. I'll be patient with you, but the public won't. And that's what I need you to know. Let's go on. Misunderstanding road signs by shape and color. Our first lesson is about road signs, the pretest. This is the reason why we're doing this. Example, a test taker is confused about do not enter or no enter. They make a mistake on a yellow pentagon sign for a school zone, and they get that question wrong. It's really easy to missign questions. So if you don't prepare, you don't go over the sign questions, you don't go over your state's whatever driver must know, you're going to be very confused, and you might go the wrong way because you misunderstand no enter versus do not enter sign with the mistake of a yellow pentagon sign for a school zone. Okay. I suggest you use flashcards, use the DMV practice app. I have quizzes that I custom make that prepare you. And that's really going to prepare you. And if you follow that and you're getting 70% or higher each quizzing, that's going to give you confidence. If you don't prepare for that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Remember, I'm an educator, I'm an instructor. From day one, we're hitting the ground. Our objectives, class time, you working. I don't care about cameras not working, you won't get your hours. I don't care about the computer not working, you won't get your hours. The state doesn't care. If my computer crashes, the state doesn't care. So that's going to take care of itself. They don't care. All they want is compliance, 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 compliance. So we have a time limit to get you guys done. And if you're not done within that time limit, you're going to have to retake the class. So it's serious. So some of you are like, I can be late. I can miss a couple of drives. Well, I'm going to turn your paperwork into the office and then you won't get your certificate on time. I know the rules. I set you up for success. But if you're the type of kid or young adult who is lazy or does stuff at the last second, it won't really work for you. Okay. An example, you got to use flashcards. You might mistake the round sign for railroad and diamond for warning. And the color red is prohibitory and the color yellow is warning. If you confuse those, you could make a fatal mistake. So you really got to know your signs. A mask is not needed, but if you do have a cold or something, put it on. Obviously, that was a very dark time with COVID. That's done. But if you're really, 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 really sick, don't get into the car with us because you're going to make me sick, make other people sick. So use good judgment. You're young adults. I don't have to hold your hand and give you hand sanitizer. You're young adults. If you're very sick, don't schedule a drive. If you're puking and throwing up and you're supposed to be driving, don't drive. Okay? But realize that if you're sick, the state doesn't care. I'm just being honest with you. I will never lie to you. Okay? I'm going to answer each question. Lack of preparation. It's an easy trap. Example, a 16-year-old skips driver's ed because it's not required and assumes the test is common sense due to the lack of formal knowledge. You fail. Treat the knowledge test seriously, even if it's not required. It's going to give you a background about signs and pavement markings and things you need. This is why we do a lot of test prep. This is why I'm going to take my time. Always try to do your best. Because I'm an educator, test prep, test prep, test prep, test prep. You will have anxiety. Every single time you take a test, I'm going over the answers, you're going to see your score. Either you're going to be at the top, middle, or bottom. It's really a bell-shaped curve. You know about this. A third of you will be to the left, a third of you will be in the middle, a third of you will be to the right. It's always a bell-shaped curve. Usually the students who study, take tests well, who can read well, who apply it, they're going to get the highest grades. I see it every single time. So you got to really prepare for this. A student fails a question about who goes first at a four-way when two cars come simultaneously. Incorrectly, whoever guesses the first or the fastest. That's a great way to fail. That's a great way to get hit by a car. Review right-of-way rules. Remember the key principle. The first to stop is the first to go. I'll say it again. The first to stop is the first to go. When turning left, yield to oncoming traffic. If you can remember that, you'll be fine. All of you had the same question about four-way stops. I'll say it again. Review the right-of-way rules carefully. Remember, key principles. Whoever stops first goes first. When turning left, yield to oncoming traffic. Is it difficult to learn how to drive a stick shift? No, it's not. We don't provide that instruction at this school. Other schools may. I suggest you learn how to drive a manual. It's not that difficult. Twitch or YouTube? YouTube all the way. I'm going through your questions. What is the biggest thing we need to remember while on the roads? I'm going over it right now. It's a lot. A lot of you will confuse speed limits. That's one thing. You'll confuse speed limits. Don't confuse speed limits. Example. An applicant fails the question asking maximum speed on a highway with no posted speed limit. Some of you will say, well, if there's no posted speed limit, what is our speed? The correct answer on the highway is 55 miles an hour. I'll say it again. Some of you ask, well, what's the speed limit if there's no posted sign? There's always a posted sign. Every quarter of a mile, every half of a mile. Students always say that. And that brings across anxiety. I don't see the speed limit. I don't see the speed limit. And I get it. I understand. Okay, I don't want to get a ticket either. But if you don't see the speed limit, the correct answer is about 55 miles an hour. Memorizing or pre-assuming speed limits in your state vary. Every state's different. Some states are 65, some are 55, some are 75. Let's keep going. How do you grade us when we are driving with you? There's an evaluation sheet. I will show it to you. I always explain how I'm grading you. In the end, I have to sign it. You have to sign it. It's going to be pass or fail. I will show you the evaluation process. You should ask about the evaluation process. It's no secret. And if you're struggling, I'm going to talk to your parent or guardian because communication is really important. If you're struggling on day one, I'm going to tell your parents, here's where your scholar is struggling. Here's what we can do. And I suggest you come and ride with us. I had a parent ride with me this past weekend. Not knowing about laws, not knowing BAC, not knowing how medication affects you. Those are some of the questions on your test. If you are taking medication, you need to know how it affects you. If it makes you sleepy, you shouldn't be driving. If you have anxiety and you take medication and it wears off, if we're driving in the afternoon, then that's going to be a problem. If you have a special medication that you're taking, please let me know in advance. If you have an IEP and you need someone to read the test to you, you can, by state law, bring in your parent or guardian. I cannot read the test to you. My main responsibility is you and all the other scholars in the classroom. So again, if you have an IEP, remember I'm an educator. There's some kids that can't read. Your parent or guardian can read the test to you. Okay? Students fail a question about what to do when a traffic light is green, but the intersection is blocked. A lot of students have questions about this. What do I do when the intersection is blocked? You wait until the intersection is clear. Learn that you cannot enter an intersection unless it's completely clear. Blocking the intersection is a major traffic violation. So don't enter an intersection you can't go through because you're setting yourself for failure, us getting hit. So I won't let you do that. I have a break for a reason. What is the hardest part of driving? I'm going over it right now. Confusion about pavement markings is one thing. A question about a solid white line versus a broken white line, that's going to be on your test. Not knowing that changing lines over a solid white line is illegal. I'll say it again. Not knowing that changing lines or changing lanes over a solid white line is illegal. And if you don't understand that, you're not reading the whatever driver must know, because that's the foundation. That's why it's day one lecture. Study common payment markings. I have a quiz for that. There are videos for that. There's a reason why that lesson is number one. Now you're starting to understand. Solid white lines mean stay in your lane. Broken white lines mean you can change lanes. Yellow lines separate opposite traffic. You need to understand that. And if you don't, you could end up failing your test, getting into an accident. What is the easiest car to drive in your opinion? All cars are easy to drive if you know how to drive. I'll say it again. All cars are easy to drive if you know how to drive. All cars have a brake and a gas pedal. And then manual cars have a brake, a gas pedal, and a clutch. If you know how to drive, any car can be easy to drive. If you don't know how to drive, cars are hard to drive. Let's pretend you fail yielding to pedestrians. Answering that, you only need to yield if the pedestrian is on their half of the road. In the US, drivers must yield to pedestrians in crosswalks. That's a huge area where beginners fail. You got to yield to pedestrians who are in the crosswalk. With the surge in e-bikes, and I'm being honest, the surge in e-bikes, cyclists understand their rights. We need to share the road with bicyclists. You want to give them at least 3 feet. So we have a surge in e-bikes. Pedestrians, the elderly, people on bikes, and children are vulnerable road users. Please remember that. Some of you are asking good questions, but what I'm giving you is the classroom portion. Then I'll give you the end card. And I'm really answering your questions with examples. Will other students be in the car while we're driving? Yes. I drive it in groups of 2 or 3. We don't really want to drive alone with the student. That brings liability. We always drive with groups of 2 or 3 students in the car, so you can learn from each other. Every state has rules about observation. If you're alone, you can't sit back and observe someone. What are you going to do? Observe yourself? So there's always other students in the car. This is why you need to know your schedule. It is so important. Forgetting about school and bike or bus laws. Fails the test because they couldn't recall the exact law about stopping for a school bus with flashing red lights on multiple lanes. Every state has strict rules about stopping for school buses. All of you are in that age. Some of you ride the bus. Whether you know whether you must stop on one side or divided highway or not, you have to read whatever driver must know. If you don't read it, you won't know. So that goes back to you putting in that work. You, not me, you. I like the questions. Let's keep them going. We're taking our time. Wherever we get to, we get to. How long have you taught driver's education? 24 years. And you learn new things every single class, every single student. And I'm telling you why some of you will fail and some of you will pass. I'm very positive, very proactive. But if you don't put in your work and study and prepare, you will fail the classroom portion and you'll struggle in the car. Every student's a little bit different. But I can see trends happening from day one, such as kids who don't have their camera on, such as kids playing. And Just because your parents paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars doesn't mean you automatically pass. You have to meet those standards. And you want an instructor who's going to have fidelity, who's honestly going to mark the attendance. You're late. Can't you forget about it? No. I missed a drive. Can't you forget about it? No. Because if you come back and crash, it's going to come back on me. I'm not going to lie for you. Well, I need to get my drives done. It's past 6 weeks. I was sick. You're going to have to repeat a week of class. So it's really important that you guys understand that this is kind of the big girl and big boy class. This is where you start to grow up. Driving doesn't make you grown up. It just teaches you responsibility. Example, distracted by phone use during class. An instructor reports that students frequently on their phone during class, missing key information, and perform poorly on the test. This is the issue we face. So if you are distracted, playing a video game, talking to mom and dad, I'm going to let you know. And if you still do that, I'll remove you. They'll look back at the video. Yep, the instructor was right. If taking a formal, put your phone away completely. Active listening is critical. I know we're in the age of TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, but I try to put my phone away too, unless it's an emergency. So it's really important that I model. You'll be okay without your phone for 2 hours. I know many of your parents are following us on the app. That's fine. We have a set route we go on. You right, left turns, parking. It's really engaging. So you have to know that. What is the most king drivers forget to do? Everything. I'm going over that right now. And I'm taking my time. We have 4 minutes. I'm going to go over what I need. And then we'll continue this tomorrow. By me going over this list, and I'm not going to rush. This is the classroom portion. What I'm going to do is move to the car portion. Poor observation. If you're in a car, poor observation. You pull out from a stop sign without properly head checking. This is when you fail to almost get hit by a car. You're probably saying, who does that? All of you, you're beginners. Beginning drivers misjudge distance. I have a brake. I have an extra mirror. Your parents do not. If you do that with your parents, they're not going to drive you anymore. Every instructor, every intersection, slow down and physically turn your head left and right. But you guys won't do it. You're scared to look. You have to turn your head to the left. You got to turn your head to the right. The good drivers start that on day one. Make your movements obvious so the examiner can see you. Don't be scared to look. Rolling stops. You see mom rolling stop. You see dad rolling stop. You see your sister rolling stop. You see your whole family rolling stop. You think it's okay. But if you develop that habit, you won't pass your driving test. You have to have a complete stop for 3 seconds. These are some of the in-car things. I'm answering your questions. There's no one thing that is going to fail you. It's multiple things. Do we drive on the highway or the freeway in segment 1? Yes, you do. Around your 5th drive, you go on. You have to be able to merge, and you have to be able to get off. I have routes that we go on. Some are 5-minute routes, 10-minute routes, 15-minute routes. Some you get on 6 times, you get off 6 times. The minimum is about 4. 4 times. Get on, get off, get on, get off, get on, get off. That's the minimum. But I'm better than minimum. An applicant slows down for 5 miles per hour at a stop sign but doesn't come to a complete stop or halt, resulting in an automatic fail. Come to a complete stop 1001, 1002, and 1003. If you do this, you're ahead of the game. So you have to learn this. You're here to learn. If you want to learn, let me teach you. What's a good first car? I have a list for that, but I have to talk about that another day. I can tell you a good first car, but I want to give you information. And we'll set up a class for that. You drive an Impala with me or a Ford. I drive an Impala because it's a larger vehicle. We have 1 minute. I drive an Impala because it's a larger vehicle. I need you to type, what did you learn? Please and thank you. Type what you just learned. There's more information. Day one is a lot. Remember, I have it broken down by classroom portion and car portion. So you need to type what you learned. And then tomorrow, I'm going to finish going over this because this will give us a foundation for the class. This will give us a foundation. And that's how you learn. Put in your information, your first, middle, last name, please. Put that in. And then you're good. And then we'll continue. So don't move. Guys, hang on a second. All right, go ahead and put your first, middle, last name in. And then you can go. And then we want to take our time. We don't want to rush. We have to take our time. If you really want to learn, we'll take our time. I'll copy all of this. We'll continue. And I'll give you examples of classroom portion and car portion. With anxiety, with overconfidence. Some students have a lot of anxiety. That prevents you from making maneuvers. Some students are overconfident. That means we're dangerous. Some students are very shy. That can be difficult too. So you got to be in the middle. You got to be balanced. I'm a very social person, so I'm going to help you. Okay, once you are done, you can go. And then we'll continue tomorrow with this. Don't move. Okay, let's continue, guys. This is a great session. I guarantee you're going to learn. All right, let's keep talking about this. We're going to continue with in-car and classroom. YouTube, overwhelmingly. I think the best platform is YouTube, no doubt. Let me give examples. Failing to check blind spots. A driver in Texas changes lanes on a highway only after checking their mirrors, cutting off a car in their blind spot. Before any lane change or merge, perform a quick glance over the shoulder. It's just like this. It's just like this. If you can't do that maneuver, you're going to end up sideswiping a car. And on the expressway, the number one type of collision is a side swipe or rear end collision. I always talk about that. And it's true. So don't rely on your car's sensors. Don't rely on your car's mirrors. They only show you what's in the general area. You've got to look over your shoulder. You've got to check. Next, put your questions in. Incorrect mirror usage. A student in Chicago brakes hard for a turn without checking the rearview mirror, and the examiner has to brace for a potential rear-end collision. That happened to me a few years ago. The lady wasn't paying attention. The car cut us off. My student hit the brakes. She hit us. I hurt my neck. My student had a concussion. It was real. Okay? Use mirror signal maneuver. Mirror signal maneuver. Mirror signal maneuver. Routine religiously. Check your mirrors before any change in speed or direction. I always tell you this. If you are watching this live, if you are there in the morning, there in the afternoon, here now, mirror, turn signal, blind spot. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. It's serious. Put in your questions. Not responding correctly to traffic lights. An applicant in Florida hesitates at a green light that has been clear for a while. Then proceeds slowly, causing confusion for drivers behind them. How do you fix this? Approach lights with awareness. That is so important. People always panic on yellow lights, green lights. It's called a stale green light. If the light is green and the junction is clear, proceed without hesitation. Here's what happens. Beginning drivers actually put their foot on the brake. You start slowing down because you have anxiety. And because of that anxiety, you're going to slow the flow down. The light is going to be in that cycle to change. And if you're too close and it changes yellow, now we could potentially fail or get hit or get a ticket. And if you have anxiety, I'm going to show you. I'm going to help you. This is why you're here. And if you don't have anxiety, you want to teach your new driver, your adult driver, your driver who failed their test 2 or 3 times, you need to watch this guy. I'm that guy because I'm a state certified driving instructor. Poor steering. And this is the in-car portion. Poor steering. Nervous test taker in Ohio lets the steering wheel spin through their hands after a turn. Please listen. Causing the car to swerve slightly. I don't teach that method. I read your comments. If you're letting the wheel spin, you're going to crash. I'll say it again. If you're letting the wheel spin, you're going to crash. Don't let the wheel spin through your hands. Keep your hands at 9 and 3 or 10 and 2, using push and pull steering to maintain constant control of the steering wheel, and avoid letting the wheel spin back on its own. Nervous drivers forget those steps. Drivers with anxiety forget those steps. And if you forget those steps, you're going to set yourself up for a crash. I don't want you to crash. I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to be listening. You need to be watching this video. You need to be watching the in-car video in the morning, the in-car video in the afternoon. Anytime I go live, I'm trying to be in-car, showing you how to avoid anxiety, showing you what you need to do. So we want to prepare you for best practice. Next, incorrect positioning at the intersection. Incorrect positioning. A driver in Pennsylvania stops at a full length before the stop line, making it difficult to see the cross traffic. I've had beginners do that. You stop at a full length before the stop line. Literally, you can't see. You can't see other cars to your left. You can't see other cars to your right. Please listen to this. This is a very important class. And you need to be listening. You need to be sharing. You need to be telling your friends. Stop with your front bumper just before the stop line or stop bar, B-A-R. If there is no line, just before the crosswalk so you can see pedestrians and not blocking the intersection. Okay? Stalling, poor clutch control, manual cars. A student with a manual car stalls at a busy intersection in Seattle, panics, failing to restart the car quickly when traffic builds. It happens. You're nervous. You have anxiety. It happened to me when I was driving a Volkswagen. One of the members at the YMCA said, "Hey, I'll let you use my car. It's a Volkswagen." I said, "Okay. It's a manual. You know how to drive?" "Sure." I lied. I did not know how to drive a manual. I knew how to start it. I know he had to push in the clutch. I kept stalling the car at every single light. It was horrible. Horrible. Okay? I went to pick up my cousin. I don't know how I made it to her house, but we were driving and we made it back. I don't know how I did not burn out that clutch. Think about that. So, practicing finding a biting point of when that clutch comes up and then it grips. Same thing, learning to keep up with the flow of the traffic. A lot of beginners go too slow. You're going to build up road rage. You're going to have people get mad. And when drivers go too slow, you're either going to have to slam brakes at the light, dangerous, or you're going to have to speed through a yellow or red light because we're too close. I don't want us to get hit. This is so important right now. Please listen to what I'm saying. This is one of the most important classes this evening across the United States. We are not playing. You better be locking me in. You better be subscribing. You better be leaving comments, because this is about anxiety and driving. We're not talking about the country. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about driving. It's really important. Let's keep going. So if you're overcautious too, that can cause hesitation and anxiety. And that takes time and experience. That's where an experienced instructor supports you and help you. I'm that experienced instructor who's going to be honest, who's going to tell you the truth, and who's going to help you. Speeding. An applicant in Texas, eager to impress, drives 40 in a clearly marked 30 school zone. It's 10 over, resulting in an instant fail. Occasionally, I have students who are overconfident. I had a young man this weekend. He thought the car was in reverse. It was in drive. We almost went through a gas station. I'll say it again. I had a young man who was overconfident. He put it in drive. He thought it was in reverse. If I didn't hit the brake, we would have went through a gas station. That makes you think. And a lot of you are like, teaching someone to drive is so easy. No, it's not. You just tell them what to do. They have to understand what to do. You have to teach them what to do so they know what to do. But if someone is overconfident, they're just as dangerous or more dangerous than someone with anxiety or fear. So I'm giving you all three. This is in car right now. Put in intelligent questions. Obey all posted speed limits. Pay extra attention to school zones, construction zones, where the fines are often doubled and they're strictly enforced. They say that in most whatever driver must know. You're getting your money's worth tonight. You better be listening. Next, improper lane changes. A driver in Atlanta signals and immediately swerves into the next lane without a shoulder. That's going to be scary. Forcing the car to brake suddenly. You're probably saying, who does that? All of you. Because this is being pushed out to beginner drivers. This is being pushed out to drivers who have anxiety. This is being pushed out to young drivers. This is being pushed out to people who love learning. This is an educational channel. I speak truth. I speak from experience. I'm a state certified driving instructor, and I'm going to take you through the process daily. So this is why you got to subscribe. You got to follow me. You got to leave comments. You have to be really serious about driving. You're going to use the SMOG, S-M-O-G method. Signal, mirror, over shoulder, and go. Again, the SMOG method. Signal, mirror, over the shoulder, and go. Leaving adequate space to change lanes smoothly. A student in New York hits a curb while attempting to parallel park. They ends up more than 18 inches from the curb. This is an automatic fail. If you hit the curb, automatic fail. If you're not within 12 inches, automatic fail. Somebody probably saying, who does that? All of you. If you park in the downtown area, Atlanta, Georgia, New York, Texas, Massachusetts, Maine, Wisconsin, Michigan, it doesn't matter, you will get a ticket. And you could get your car hit. I did a video on that. A lot of people said, you're just playing, you're BSing. No. You want a parking ticket? Keep doing that. Practice with cones in an empty lot. I have videos on that too. Learn reference points. I always talk about lane line reference. There's a reference line to the right. That's the white line or edge line. There's a reference line to the left. It's either a broken white, a solid white, a solid double yellow, a broken yellow, or a solid yellow, and then a broken yellow in between, which means we can get in and make left turns only. You're probably saying that's not important. You want to fail your test? I'm trying to tell you real life. I'm trying to reduce your anxiety. I'm trying to bring you value. And I'm going to speak truth. So that is extremely important. Lane line reference. Example, when the back wheels hit the cone, cut the wheel without relying on park assist. I get a lot of emails and comments. Can I use my backup camera? Can I use my backup camera? Turn it off. Look out your back window. Look to the right back corner. Look to the left back corner. Look out your back window. Your mirrors and your backup camera don't really give you the proper depth perception. And a lot of you who are under 21, you're like, I'm just going to use my backup camera. You're going to backup camera into your mom and dad's garage. You're going to backup camera into a wall. You're going to backup camera and side swipe your mom or dad's car. I don't want that to happen to you. You really need to listen to me. Failing to yield right of way. A driver in Florida fails to yield a right of way to oncoming traffic, making a left turn. This is going to end badly. Forcing an oncoming car to slam its brakes. That's automatic failure. This is painful even to say this. I hurt saying this. Be patient when turning left. Wait until oncoming traffic is clear, C-L-E-A-R, or far enough away so you don't have to force someone to slow down. Beginning drivers, if we're making a left, you come up 3/4 of the way into the intersection. You check oncoming traffic coming across your face. My hand is oncoming traffic. You don't look to the left, pretty cars. You don't look to the right, pretty cars. Look at traffic coming across our face. I'm speaking truth. I'm not going to lie to you. A driver in Virginia signals to turn a full block away, leading other drivers that think they are turning into an earlier driveway, then forgets to turn off the signal. Signal at least 100 feet or a half a block. Develop a habit of checking your signal is off after completing your maneuver. Today, while we were driving on I-94 interstate, a driver left her blinker on for 3 miles. That's confusing. Next, a nervous applicant in Phoenix, Arizona follows the car in front too closely at 45 miles an hour, leaving less than 1 second gap, giving the examiner no safety margin. Use the 3-second rule. Pick a stationary object, 1 police car, 2 police cars, 3 police cars. When your car ahead of you passes it, you should be able to count 3 seconds before passing it. If you can't, you are too close. If you're just joining us, this is for driver's education. This is for drivers who have anxiety. We're talking about the classroom portion and the in-car portion. I'm going over the in-car portion right now. You should always be aware and you should always be safe. Regardless of the age of your vehicle, the transmission should always work. It's really important. If you're driving a vehicle that doesn't shift up to the lower gear or down to the higher gear, you shouldn't be driving it. Because if you're driving a vehicle that's unsafe, you're going to end up getting a ticket. It's going to break down. So you have to have that safety responsibility. That's like me driving a car that I know is going to overheat. And as soon as I drive 10 minutes, it's going to overheat. I'm driving a car that I know is going to break down. Why would you drive a car that you know is going to break down? Don't drive a car that you know is going to break down. It's your responsibility to make sure you have a vehicle that is road worthy. It's really important that you do that. Okay? Next. A driver in Boston checks their mirrors but fails to do a shoulder check before pulling away from the curb, nearly hitting a cyclist and passing on the left. That's an automatic fail. Before moving off, perform a 360 observation. You have to look. If you don't look, you're going to cut off a car and you're going to fail. Your parents won't drive you anymore. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I have a break. I will prepare you. I will stop you, if I can, to let you know that you're getting ready to perform a dangerous maneuver. And then we need to put it in park and talk. Okay? Do that 360 mirror observation. Check your interior mirror, left blind spot, and signal. Okay? A student in a crowded Florida parking lot attempts to reverse into a space but ends up crooked. This is painful to think about too. You cross 2 parking lines. You're going to sideswipe a car. People won't like you. Go slowly and use your mirror and look over your shoulder. Move forward to correct your position. Examiners value control and safety over speed. I'll say it again. Examiners value control over speed. Take your time. Number 38, not responding to traffic signals. An applicant in Illinois rolls through a yield sign without slowing down, treating it like a slowdown warning rather than a required yield. I know it sounds confusing. A yield sign requires you to slow down and be prepared to stop. Be ready to give the right of way to other vehicles or pedestrians. Pedestrians always have the right of way. You remember what I talked about? Pedestrians are vulnerable road users. Teens, kids are vulnerable road users. The elderly are vulnerable road users. Kids are vulnerable road users. Bicyclists are vulnerable road users. Poor lane discipline. On a curved ramp in Colorado, I'm scared to even say this. On a curved ramp in Colorado, a driver drifts out of their lane and crosses a white line and nearly hits a barrier. That sounds scary. Stay centered in your lane, especially on curves. Look ahead where you want the car to go, not down at the hood line. That is really important that you don't look down at the hood line. You look ahead and aim high. Next, putting pedestrians at risk. Putting pedestrians at risk. There are two options when you merge. Some merge lanes are on the left, and that presents a unique problem because you got to get up to speed really fast. I demonstrated one of those on my live this weekend. We had to get all the way over to the left, 3 lanes, and get up to speed, and then slow down and go going around to the left. That is very challenging for a beginner. You got to get up to speed really fast. You got to slow down really fast. That's the challenge, even for me as an instructor. So you need to be able to negotiate good speed control. You need to be able to get up to speed from 30 to 60 quickly without hesitation, knowing your car, knowing your ability, checking your mirrors, checking your blind spot. I know it's a lot of anxiety, but I'm going to help you. You got to be able to get up to speed quickly, gracefully, keep your space, not cut off a car, not panic. You probably said that's easy for you. It's not easy for me either because I don't want to get hit. I don't want to cut off someone. But I'm going to model that behavior. You got to look at that video. I'm telling you, it caught me off guard. Always yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. Scan the crosswalk carefully. As you approach an intersection, be prepared to stop. A driver in Seattle fails to stop for a pedestrian who's already stepped into a marked crosswalk, expecting the pedestrian to wait. That sounds like the pedestrian's going to get hit. I'm scared to even talk about it. You will fail. It's called encroachment, where you're charging that pedestrian. You're welcome. These are some of the in-car. Now we're going to go to knowledge. Put in more questions. Green does not mean go. Green means look. I had a driver almost hit a pedestrian because he didn't shoulder check to the right, just the way I'm looking. He almost hit a person. I had to hit my brake. And then I looked at him like, what are you doing? He didn't know. He just saw a green light. He was excited. He checked to the left. He failed to look over his shoulder and check to the right. He almost hit that pedestrian. You have to check. Cars run lights too. So we did in car. Now we got to finish the classroom portion. Put in more questions. I'm going to go over this next portion. Let's take our time. You got to be committed to learning. If you really want to learn, you're going to put in questions. Some guys, some ladies, some adults, some teens. You can't just say guys. It's girls, it's guys, it's young drivers, it's old drivers, it's truck drivers. Every type of driver gets careless And this puts us all at risk. This is why this title, anxiety. This causes anxiety, errors, lapses in judgment. Distracted by phone during class. A AAA instructor in Massachusetts reports students frequently on their phone during class, misses key information, and they perform poorly on the knowledge test. If you're taking a formal course, put your phone away. Actively listen. Participation is critical. If you're taking the time to listen to this, you need to be giving a thumbs up. You need to be actively listening. I need you to lock in. Not understanding railroad crossings. A student in Indiana fails a question about what to do at a railroad crossing. This is scary. I'm getting scared reading this. This gives me anxiety. With a flashing red light but no train. Incorrectly answers that is safety to proceed slowly. Flashing red lights always mean stop. STOP. Regardless of whether you see a train or not. Know the penalties for going around a crossing. I would never do that. I'm giving you knowledge right now. If you're never get on the highway, you never will truly learn how to drive. It's called gradual exposure. I would go on the service drive that's parallel to the expressway. I would see the cars. I would go on during off-peak hours, either early in the morning or late evening. I would practice merging on, merging off, until you feel confident and consistent. I have some good videos on that. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, you're really missing out. It's a commitment. If you really want to learn how to drive, when I'm posting these videos, you need to be asking questions. Why did you do that? Can you explain it to me? This is the long session. I'm in car. I'm in the studio. I'm in the car. I'm in the studio. I'm doing YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, short vertical form video. You need to be looking at the long form when I'm in a downtown New York, downtown Atlanta, Georgia, downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, to really learn. You need to be binge watching all of my content. I put some updates. I changed titles. It's really going to help you. Let's keep going. A driver in Arizona fails to question using a center left turn lane, thinking it can be used as a merge or pass. This is so scary. Like, this is painful for me to read. But this is the reality. Study specialized lanes, HOV lanes, reversible lanes, and center turn lanes, LANES. They all have specific and strict usage rules. If you really want to learn, I'm the channel. I'm the person. I'm real. If you don't want to learn and you want to have anxiety, don't watch. Don't make a commitment. As long as I'm here and alive, I'm going to be posting videos. I'm going to be showing you best practice so you can prepare. This is what I do. Next. A test taker in Virginia fails a question about following distance, choosing 2 seconds when the safe following distance is 3 to 4 seconds. Memorize 3 seconds. for following distance and increase it in bad weather or high speed. It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. 3 seconds gives you enough time to recognize it, slow down, and control your vehicle. Next, not understanding insurance requirements. As a young adult in New Hampshire, a state that doesn't mandate car insurance, fails a question about financial responsibility after an accident. Even in states without mandatory insurance, drivers must provide proof of financial responsibility, knowing the minimal liability requirements in your state. Because if you get hit and the person has minimal coverage, you have very little legal recourse to get your car fixed. Okay? So you really want to understand the coverages. You want to know what happens. A student in a driver's ed class misses a question about the dangers of driving while drowsy, thinking it's less risky. The manual covers all forms of impairment, fatigue, distraction. You need to read these sections thoroughly. Goes back to the reading part. A student studying for their CDL or even a standard license fails a question about a truck's blind spot or the no zones. I always talk about that. Not knowing where they're located. Knowing where a driver's truck's blind spots are: front, back, left, and right. If you can't see the truck's mirrors, the trucker can't see you. I'll say it again. If you can't see the trucker's mirrors, the trucker can't see you. In Florida, a student's been driving for years in Florida on a permit, skims the question and clicks true on a question that is actually false, leading to a failure. It's crazy. If you're stuck on a question, flag it, come back at a later date or later time. Most DMV computers tests allow for this. Focus on answering all questions first. Okay? I have practical test sessions too. You need to be looking at my content. You need to be looking at the link in my bio. I keep telling you guys, I had test prep material. It's there for a reason. So you got to have good time management. You got to take your time. You can't just go to DMV. Oh, I'm going to be done in half an hour, Mom. 2 hours later, where are you? I'm waiting. I got to go pick up Junior. You're going to have your parents mad. You do have to rip the Band-Aid off, but remember, this is about anxiety. This is about in-car testing, out-of-car testing, and brain freeze. So I agree with you, but I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I agree with you. You just need to get on. But I call it gradual exposure. Go on that service drive. Go on during off-peak hours. Don't go on during the morning rush hour. Your brain will freeze. You'll have test anxiety, brain failure. Go on when it's not as busy so you can roll out smoothly. There's not a semi-truck coming. Okay? This is a really good place. Please listen. A nervous 16-year-old or 24-year-old or 28-year-old or 38-year-old or 48-year-old in New York who studied hard freezes during the test and forgets facts like merging of a yellow traffic light. Practice online DMV simulators, which I have. Get used to the test format. Take deep breaths. And remember that you can retake the test if needed. I want to say thank you. Subscribe, follow, leave comments. Bye.